Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today, what I do have in here is Dungeons of Hinterberg. So this is a game that was released on Game Pass, but the developers offered me the key of the game, so I'm very satisfied with that, so thank you a lot. And I did try the demo during the Steam Fest, so this is nothing new to me, and the level of performance that this game has to offer is more or less in line with the demo, so I think the performance is mostly the same. But let's get to the results that I want to talk. So first of all, I show you the settings that you have to choose. Most of them, the normal is the maximum quality you can use. So yeah, it's not a game that is graphical demanding, but we never know these days. We have games that are doesn't look very nice looking, but they end up being very demanding. So I decided to take obviously Dungeons of Hinterberg for a spin on the GTX 1650 Super. And so playing with the maximum settings over here, I was able to get an experience well above 60 frames per second. So this is clearly my recommended setting in case you want to play the game, since the frame rate that you have is well, simply insane, about 120, always pretty much above 100. There are moments that might drop below 100, but I mean, most of the experience it is above 100 frames per second. My favorite way to play is just the VSync. Since I have a 60Hz screen, the game gets kept to 60 frames per second. I do enjoy a cool and quiet experience from my GPU, a very stable frame rate. Yeah, it's not the typical game that it is demanding for the GPU, so you can just go and push this game to 1080p maximum with no issues whatsoever. So because of that, I decided to move on and try 1440p. So as you can see in the settings, 1440p using best performance settings, which is the minimum. I just increased the texture resolution since we have enough VRAM for that, and disable the lock frame rate. That when you choose best performance, it locks to 60. And as you can see, 1440p using the best performance settings with maximum textures over here. My experience was overall above 60 frames per second. The major difference I noticed in graphics between these best performance settings compared to the highest quality, it was just mostly the draw distance of the shadows. I mean, if I look to a shadow at distance, it might be a little bit differing or with a little bit worse quality. Also, the grass in this moment, um, the render distance of the grass is much more smaller, so you don't see grass at the distance like you see with the IS settings. But apart from that, I mean, the experience is overall the same. I think whatever the settings you choose, this game doesn't really make too much of a difference because the art style is very pronounced. So whatever if you play with minimum or maximum, I don't feel that you are losing anything. To be honest, it's just if you have the PC to play at the highest settings, of course go for it. But yeah, 1440p, best performance settings, high textures, it just performs above the 60 frames per second, which is pretty cool. So, but what about 1440p with the highest quality settings? Well, here it is, settings, 1440p, highest quality, and yeah, that's it. So what's the experience? The experience is an experience overall above 60 frames per second, but it can drop. So you can expect the frame rate to drop down to 50, something in between the 50 to 60. There are areas, of course, where you have more than 60 frames per second with no issues whatsoever, but you can't really lock to 60. There will be moments where the game will be playing with lower frame rates, and for me there is no issue about it. I just like to have my frame rate locked to 60, but if you are the type of people that doesn't mean anything to you, or you have like a G-Sync screen or a FreeSync screen with variable refresh rate, you can just go with 1440p maximum settings because it never drops too much below than 60. But again, this is just the first dungeon, but the first dungeon performance level is the same as the open world moments of this game. So this game level of performance is very balanced. It doesn't change that much, alright? So yeah, that's about it. Now that we tested 1440p, the question is asked, what about the almighty 4K? How does the game perform in there? So let me just show you settings, 4K custom because best performance. Then I go and customize and put the textures on the maximum I can. And I forgot to disable the lock on frame rate to 60, but honestly it doesn't make a difference because the level of performance that we are having with 4K and best performance settings with textures on high, it doesn't reach 60 frames per second, not even looking to the clouds. As you can see, the experience is overall above 30 frames per second, but it doesn't seem to drop below of that, so which is it is a nice candidate to lock to 30 frames per second and enjoy at 4K with these best performance settings. Because it just doesn't drop. It is perfect for 30 frames per second. The game, it's actually the type of game that I don't think you do require 60. I think 30 is more than enough if you don't care about it. Of course, I do prefer 60 any single day of the week. But if you really want to play 4K and if you prioritize resolution over frame rates, then you should go with the best performance setting. Increase the texture resolution to its maximum, lock the game to 30, and enjoy a very smooth 30 frames per second. Alright, now the question is, what about 4K with the highest quality settings? How does it perform? So as to be expected, let me just show you 4K, highest quality. Performance level is what to be expected. It runs above 30 frames per second in some moments, but obviously drops below the 30. It is to be expected. So I don't recommend to play like this. It's not that playing this game under 30 frames per second with highest 20s is going to make you a bad player or anything like it, but I would avoid to play like this. I mean, you can just have frame drops here and there below than 30 very easily, and I think we should avoid that. All right. So for me, my best settings is to play at 1080p, max settings, highest quality, and that's my way to enjoy the game. See, and like I said, since I have a 60Hz screen, basically I just VSync the game, and that's it. That's my favorite way of enjoying this game, and because of that I'm just going to leave in here my complete run of the 1080p using that specific setting. And with this I'm going to shut up and I will let you enjoy a little bit of gameplay. So guys, that's it. Thank you a lot for watching until now. Hope you keep enjoying the rest of the video, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.